it's Louise, the Big Head Bookworm. Lovely to see you. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a good day. Whatever it is you're doing and wherever it is you're doing it. And I hope that you're doing it with better hair than I am today. There is no way I can rescue the hair today. It needs some intervention of some sort. Ugh. Anyway, let's forget about the hair. Let's just move on from the hair. So I'm here with a different kind of video than I normally do, which is why I'm sat here at this quite unflattering angle. I'm going to do try a chapter. I know, never done one before. Not really the kind of a gal that tries books before I read them. I very much tend to just read. I don't tend to try lots of different types and then go. But I've had, if you see my previous video that came out, well, in my time, it came out yesterday. I did it yesterday, but you're not going to see this video until next week. So in your time, it was last week. Weird, eh? I did a Unhaul video because I am uninspired about a lot of the books that I have on my shelf. I really am. I look at them and I go, oof. I've kept quite a lot of unread books, naturally, because I have a lot, which is a glorious thing, but there are a lot that I was uninspired by and so have sent them on their way. I took them today. Somebody was very pleased in the charity shop to receive them and all good things. And she said, if you have more, bring them back. Bring them to us. And so I was like, yes, I may well be seeing you. So what I've done is that I've picked up 6 books that I just don't know whether I want to read or not. Oh, I've taken my watch off and look, I've got a nice watch mark. Just seen that. It could be one of those videos as well where I go off on a tangent. I do warn you on that. Anyway, so I've got 6 books. Here are 3 here. And I've got another 3 here. And so I'm going to read the first chapter of each of those books and give you my impression after I've read them. And then hopefully one of them will be so marvellous that I will want to continue reading it today and for the coming days, however long it takes me to read. So I'm sat down here at the moment. I have a cat with me. I have a cup of tea. Benedict's got a friend over, so if you can hear any noise upstairs, it's them upstairs. So at some point I might get hoofed off this sofa and have to go upstairs. Depends on whether they want to play the computer game down here or the Wii that we have. So yeah, let's get to it. I shall pick my first book, and it's going to be the first one that I can grab, and it is A Rebel of the Sands by Alwyn Hamilton. So I have had this book, I would say, a good 4 years. Can't be 4 years, only came out 3 years. 3 years? I have had it since it came out in paperback, so it's about 3 years ago. So, yes, it is YA. I don't know what it is. Tell me how you want your story to go, he says, and we'll write it straight across the sands. It's an epic story of swirling desert sands, love, magic, and revolution. It's vivid, romantic, and wildly entertaining. Well, let me be the judge of that, young lady. So yes, I shall read the first chapter of that and report back. See you soon. Well, that went quickly. So I have read the first chapter of Rebel of the Sands, Alwyn Hamilton. 14 pages. Few sips of tea, done and dusted. I actually quite enjoyed it. It's obviously YA romantic nonsense set in the swirling desert sands. She's a sharpshooter, but she's dressed up as a boy because she wants to get out of her uncle's house. Where she's been living since her mother was hanged last year. We don't know any more than that, but we know that her uncle has said, well, I might take her as another wife. And she's thought, no, not so much, thanks, no. And so she's, I think, trying to get some money so that she can go on, run away. But it sounds quite good. I quite enjoyed it, actually. So I would be happy to continue with this. So this is a good start. Right, next choice is the book that is closest to me. That's the way it works. Other people probably have fancy ways of choosing this. Not so much. Here we go. The Age of Miracles by Karen Thompson Walker. There we go. Ooh, I've had this a while as well. How long have I had this? I don't think I've had it since 2012, but I've probably 2013. I've probably had it a good 4 or 5 years. It was part of a Richard and Judy, who are talk show hosts, their book club, their summer book club. I think they had kind of 6 books that they recommended for summer, and I actually think I went out and bought all 6 in the intentions of reading them. I didn't. I learned my lesson of doing that, because there's always going to be some books that I'm like, oh, I don't want to read those. Anyway, I've got a cat attacking me. Hello, you've got your paw stuck. That's your fault then. Yes, Miss Molly's just walked past. So, hauntingly believable, an impressive and quietly terrifying book. Oh, yes. You see, this might not be great. For 11-year-old Julia, it is the age of miracles, the age where kids shoot up 3 inches over summer, that rough crossing from childhood to the next life. It's a coming-of-age story. I'm not going to like that. However, but it's not just her own world that has turned on its head. Julia and her parents wake one ordinary Saturday to discover the rotation of the Earth has suddenly started to slow. So it's obviously a whole changing. So I think that's it. But however, it is a coming-of-age story. I'm not that keen on those. However, let's see how long the first chapter is. The first chapter is 4 pages. Let's do chapter 2 as well. Otherwise, that's ridiculous. Yes, that's only 10 pages. First 3 chapters. How long is 3 chapters? Here we go. This looks better. Oh no. We'll do the first 2 chapters and see where we're going. Right. The Age of Miracles. The Age of Miracles. Got my tea? Let's read. Okay. 10 pages. The Age of Miracles. Perfectly fine. I could carry on with it. So yes, it's kind of said that there's a slowing, and it's just recounted. Hair onto my t-shirt. There we are. It's just recounted the kind of the morning before they found it. So they kind of, before we heard the news, when everything was just as we'd remembered. So yes, 10 pages. Not as fun as the Rebel of the Sands. Not as fun. So out of these 2 at the moment, I prefer to continue with that one. Although I'm intrigued. I am intrigued by the Age of Miracles. I didn't love it. But then 10 pages is not much to love, is it really? Okay, so third book of my chapter. It's very exciting. Is A Morbid Taste for Bones by Ellis Peters. This is a bit different, isn't it? It's the first chronicle of Brother Cadfael. Now, I remember Cadfael from the TV. I never watched it. And who played him? That's going to annoy me. Who played him? Derek. Is it Derek Jacobi? Is it Derek Jacobi? Everybody that knows will be saying to me at the moment, yes, it's Derek Jacobi, or whoever it was. I think it was Derek Jacobi. Anyway, Derek Jacobi played him. She says confidently, but I'm not sure it was. Anyway, this chap played him, and it went on for ages. And I remember my neighbour, so my best friend at the time, we used to live next door to each other, and her mum really liked Ellis Peters' crimes and always got them when they came out. Now, these are not new. Ellis Peters died in 1995, so that tells you they're not new. Quite a list of them. Can you see? Quite a list of them. When did this come out? 1997. However, in his first chronicle, Brother Cadfael finds that his powers as a detective are more use than his skills as a herbalist. He's a herbalist. In 1137, the ambitious head of Shrewsbury Abbey has decided to acquire the remains of St Winifred for his Benedictine order. Brother Cadfael is part of the expedition sent to her final resting place in Wales, and they find the villagers passionately divided by the Benedictines' offer for the saint's relics. So it is a crime fiction set in 1137 by Brother Cadfael, who is a monk. There we go. Morbid taste for bones. So let's give this a go. How many pages is the first chapter? Oh, a decent number. Chapter 1. Look at that lovely typeface. Let's have a look. Ooh, oh yes. We've got a decent amount here. 28. That will give me more of an idea, won't it? 2 cats with me. Who knows, by the end of this video, I might have 3 cats with me. Oh, do you like my new earrings? They were birthday earrings. I always, if you ever want to buy me a present, you're not going to, but should you, and you don't want to buy me a book, then earrings or socks. And Benedict got me these. He chose well, let's be honest. He chose well. Right, chapter 1. Well, there we go. First chapter of A Morbid Taste for Bones by Ellis Peters. It's a good cover, isn't it? I do like that. It was a good 28 pages, which I feel gives you a good sense of it. I'd have happily carried on reading, actually. I'd have happily carried on reading. It's good. I like the character of Cadfael. And he was a knight, or he worked for the knights at one point, and he had adventures. And now he's in Shrewsbury, in the south of England, but he had southwest, isn't it, Shrewsbury, and Shrewsbury Abbey, yeah. And he so he's had, he's been out, he's seen the world, he's done fighting, he's had love, and now he's in his 50s and is a monk. So he's a man of the world who's turned to religion, and so he's a bit more worldly predisposed. And yeah, no, I like it. I like it. It was an interesting. I quite like kind of closeted communities and when something happens. So yes, I'm quite enjoying this. So I'd have happily continued. So that's 2 books out of my 3. Gone a bit close. 2 books out of the 3 that I'd happily continue with. So this is good. This is good. I'm liking this. I am liking this. So next book. Not sure I can read many more books, but I know I can do it. I've got 3 more. Half done. So, A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki. Shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize 2013. I picked this up in a charity bookshop for 75p. Years ago. It is, within the pages of this book lies the diary of a girl called Nao, perhaps. Riding the waves of a tsunami, it is making its way across the ocean. It will change the life of the person who finds it. It might just change yours too. That seems to be setting itself up with a lot for one book, says I. I remember the reason I picked it up was I've never read any Ruth Ozeki. Nice cover as well. But it was very popular when I first started watching BookTube. So that would be about 2013, 2014. I first started watching BookTube. And this Ruth Ozeki was mentioned a lot is all I can remember. And I thought, I've never read any Ruth Zeki. I shall read it. So I think it is a just a kind of a literary fiction book. Well, let's get on and see it. Part 1. Oh, part 1. Chapter 1. Oh, it comes in small little bits. Oh, so it comes in so part 1, and then it's, I can't see, but then it's Nao, and then it's Ruth. Let's have a look. Let's have a look up to. Okay, so I'll read one of each. So that's, how many pages is that? Kind of 15 pages. Let's have a go and see how that goes. See you on the other side. So I have read the first 14, 15 pages of this. So I have read the first bit from Nao, and I have read the first bit from Ruth. So Nao is a Japanese schoolgirl that is writing a book that she intends to put into the sea of some kind for some reason, because she's not going to be here for a long time. She's going to go. She's going to exit the world, depart. We don't know why or how. I liked her tone, and she sat in a cafe writing this diary, and then it is found by Ruth, who lives in a small island off Canada. I don't know where Desolation Sound is. I don't know where it is. So yes, moving to a remote island in the middle of Desolation Sound. So I don't know where that is in Canada, I'm afraid. But yes, they live there, and she's a novelist, and she picked up the diary that she found on the beach, and oh, do you know, I really liked it. I really liked this. I would happily have continued reading this. It's intrigued me, people. Yeah, it isn't, the tone is not what I expected. I think that's what it is. I thought it might be a bit earnest and a bit serious, and it's not. Well, is it? I don't know. But the tone, I liked the tone. I liked the tone of the teenagers. I can be a bit iffy about teenagers in general. No, about her books with teenagers as your main character, and I think that's what put me off this. But so far, this is my favourite out of the 4 books that I've read so far. There we are. I was so rudely interrupted because my camera got full from all my videoing that I've been doing. So I don't know how long all this will be. I will chop it down, don't worry. So yes, there we go. That is my favourite so far. Out of the 4 books so far, least likely to pick up. Tied for second place are those 2. Morbid, Tasting Bones and Rebel of the Sands. Number 1 favourite so far is A Tale for the Time Being. So yes, there we go. This is very good. I've got a couple of books I'm really interested. So, urban fantasy or fantasy? Oh, I didn't realise I'd left the 2 fantasy to the end. Oh well, let's pick up this one. This is The Left Hand of God, Paul Hoffman, and I reckon if I look back at my hauls, I may well have got this at the same time, because I got this from a charity shop. Does it tell me how much it cost? No, it'll be about 50p. So this is The Left Hand of God by Paul Hoffman. His name is Kale. They told him he could destroy the world. Maybe he will. I think this is the first of a series. If I remember rightly, this is the first of a series. It came out in 2010. But I've had it a good 4 or 5 years and never picked it up. Moved it from home to home in the last couple of years. Let's have a look to see how long chapter 1 is. I think this is proper fantasy. My only worry is that it's going to be the old kind of traditional fantasy. I don't know how it's going to be, but there we go. fantasy. He's got a big sword. I say. Not that kind of sword. Well, not that I know of. Anyway. Enough double entendres about men's swords. I've got no romance, I've just realised. Talking about men's swords. Well, I have, but it's YA. So there's not going to be a lot of that, is there? So yes, here we go. I did look at how many pages there were. 18 pages in the first chapter. Let's give it a go. Ooh. I want to carry on reading. I do. I want to carry on reading. What am I going to do? I've got 2 books that I really like. Both of these now. So it is fantasy. And at the moment, it's set in this. The Redeemers have this huge place called the Sanctuary. May have made that up. Yes, the Sanctuary of the Redeemers. And it's huge and vast, and they bring boys there when they're young, kind of 7, 8, 9, 10. The Redeemers do. And then they train them to do something. I don't know what it is, but it seems quite cruel and quite kind of typical fantasy stuff. But it's intriguing. I'm intrigued as to what it's all about. And I tell you what, it's slightly reminding me of an Ian M. Banks culture novel. And I think it's Against a Dark Background. And they have an enormous... In that one, there's an enormous building where the brothers are... It's a religious order. And the brothers all walk... And they're all chained to the walls. If you've read it, you know which one I mean. And it's giving me the vibe of that. And I'm really in the mood for something like that. So, I actually just automatically carried on reading because I was just, got to chapter 2 and was just carried on. So there we go. So that's The Left Hand of God by Paul Hoffman. It's not called Hoffman, it's called Hoffman. So there we go. I want to carry on reading that. How exciting is that? So, the last one. A fine addition to the urban fantasy genre is The Secret of Life and Death. Secrets of Life and Death. Not just one secret, many secrets. By Rebecca Alexandria. Destined to Die, Saved by Fate. 2 time zones. 1585, when Edward Kelly and his master... Dr. John Dee discover a dark secret at the heart of the Countess Elizabeth. And then 2013, when Jackdaw Hammond, that's a name and a half, isn't it? When Jackdaw Hammond learns of a young woman found dead on a train, her body covered in arcane symbols, she must find out what Kelly and Dee started, or die trying. Jackdaw. That's suggesting that's a lady's name. I would have thought Jackdaw wouldn't automatically think lady, would you? But anyway, there we go. So this is my last of my books. They've actually, do you know, I've been far more intrigued by the books than I thought I would be. You're now wondering why I picked them. But they were all ones I was considering getting rid of and then thought, no, I will give them a go. For some reason I was called to give them a go. And now I know why. So let's have a look. Chapter 1, prologue, not very long. Chapter 1 is only 8 pages. That doesn't sound very much, does it? Oh, here we are. I'll go to chapter 3, that's page 14. Then it's about approximately what I've done with the other ones as well. Right. Last book. And then I will have to take Benedict's friend home with Benedict. So, yeah, so I may have to speak to you later. So I may read this and then speak to you later, where I will wrap up what I think of this one and I will tell you which book I'm going to continue reading. It's very exciting. I'm now intrigued to read some of these books. I'm feeling energised. This is great. I completely poo-pooed in my head the idea of doing this and some part of me said, no, try it. And now I'm really glad. Hooray, hooray, hurrah, hurrah. Can I just say something else that I've been thinking about? And I've mentioned it to the husband, and I want to mention it to you as well. Completely off the subject, but it's something I've been thinking about. I've been watching, out of the blue, just started watching, because it was kind of saying the latest episodes available. And I was like, of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I know. Wouldn't normally watch that kind of stuff. Just, I saw it and I was like, killing 10 minutes. And so I watched it. And can I just say, A, gosh, and B, they're always eating. I know I sound like a complete nana at this point, and you're probably thinking, what? But honestly, they're always eating. They're always sitting around a table having a conversation or shouting at each other, but they're always eating. I mean, if you added up the amount of time that they film and how many shots of them actually eating there was, and yet looking at them, they must never eat. I mean, none of them are... why are they always eating? And there must be it's obviously a directorial decision to show them eating. And is it to kind of say, you know, we're healthy people, we eat, when obviously they don't, because they don't. And they're not shown exercising at all, which they must do, I would think. So, yes, I find it quite fascinating. But has anybody else watched it? And have you noticed how much they eat? Or is that a particularly me thing? I find it quite fascinating. And they all talk in this kind of slow way as well, which I'm like, come on, love, hurry up. And yeah, I find it all quite fascinating. Anyway, that's just by the by. I just thought I'd let me know if you've watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I'm now going to read my last book, which is an urban fantasy novel. And I will get back to you. Get back to you later with my roundup. Final thoughts and then roundup. Laters. Hello. Well, it's later in the day. It's not that much later. How much later is it? It's probably a couple of hours. Is it a couple of hours? Yes, it is. It's a couple of hours later. Just saw me doing addition there. I know, speedy, hey? The hair is no better. The hair may have gone worse, actually. And I've also watched back one of my clips to make sure that I was sounding okay. And I feel like you can hear that I'm slightly nasal. So apologies for my voice. I have got a bit of a thick throat. Got a bit of a sore neck, sore throat and what have you. So I think it's probably... could be a slight change in the weather, or it could be that there's a certain pollen out that I'm reacting to. Anyway, so I finished my last book, and I'm now going to give you, without telling you what I thought of it, ooh, tension. I'm going to give you, sorry, my phone just flashed up something then. From number 6 to number 1, and number 1 is the book that I'm going to carry on reading. This is countdown. I should have countdown music. I don't have countdown music. Okay, so I've had to put the lights on as well. I've had to put some of the lights on, so you've got a bit of a shadow, spooky shadow going up the stairs. That's because it's raining. It's gone really grey and rainy. No laundry. Anyway, number 6 book that I'm not going to read straight away, but I think I will read it. I definitely want to read it, but it's my least, out of these 6 books, it's my least favourite, is The Age of Miracles by Karen Thompson Walker. So that's number 6. I enjoyed my little beginning, but I wasn't grabbed. I wasn't grabbed in. I'm slightly, because it's got that kind of child, kind of coming of age. It says it's a coming of age thing, and I can be a bit... I'm not keen on them. Not to say I don't like them. I don't really like them. Okay, number 5 is... yes, The Secrets of Life and Death by Rebecca Alexander. There we go. Ta-da! Say it enough times you get it right. It was all right. I probably could have carried on. 2 time zones. Not always loving of 2 time zones, and it is very definitely 1585 and 2013. So it's very kind of definite. But I bet it could get good. It just hadn't quite got there, but that's my number 5. Yeah, so it was fine. It wasn't ghastly, but it didn't really float my boat. Number 4 is Morbid Taste for Bones by Alice Peters, which is the first chronicle of Brother Cadfael. I am going to pick this up. I am definitely going to pick this up within the next month. It could well be my 4th book in the future, unless something exciting happens. Really enjoyed it, could see it going. Yeah, we'll be picking this up. Number 3 is A Rebel of the Sands by Alwyn Hamilton. These two, I have to say, are very close, and they could be 4-3, 4-3. I mean, it could be either. You could kind of, these are interchangeable, these two. So this is a YA featured in the swirling desert sands of love, magic and revolution. It's the sharpshooter, and I enjoy it. Yeah, kind of YA, could be a bit of a love story. It's vivid, romantic and wildly entertaining, and if I was in a wildly entertaining mood. So yes, either of those two middle books, both hot contenders. Right, number 2. Which one's it going to be? You probably have already guessed. It is A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Zecchi. Yes! I am definitely going to read this. I'm going to read this book and then I'm going to read this book. So I'm going to read that book and then I'm going to read this book. Because I want to carry on with this one. Definitely want to carry on with this. Could have easily just carried on with this. But it was just pipped at the post by The Left-Hander of God by Paul Hoffman. I am in the mood for fantasy. I think that's partly. I am in the mood for fantasy and I do want to carry on. I am very tempted to go and get myself a little cuppa of something and sit here because and read. I really am, because the husband is out for most of this evening, so he won't be home late. Benedict has had chum all day, and so he's happily upstairs kind of decompressing, and I think he's on his game, playing with other mates. If you can hear any noise, that's him playing upstairs. So I'm kind of on my own down here, so I could easily just have a sneaky drink. Don't need to make tea for a while. Have a sneaky little cuppa of something and read a couple of more chapters of this, of my new book. I have put in my, should have, not the most apt bookmark, but it is one of my favourites, one of my Poirot bookmarks. Put that in here and yeah, start reading this. Get all excited about this book. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed this. So there we go. That is my video. I shall put this together and you will see it in my time. You will see it next week because it's the 29th of May today, and so I won't actually put it up until next week. But hopefully you'll enjoy it when I put it up. So, Friday Reads, I won't have told you that I am reading this book. I shall keep it stumm so that you too can have the excitement of wondering what book I'm going to read. I'm not sure you will be that excited or will wonder about it, but who knows. So, yes, let me know whether you've enjoyed this video. I've really enjoyed making it, way more than I thought I would, I have to say. It was kind of like an impulse idea, but I'm really glad I did, because I've found a good couple of books that I'm really into reading that I may well have actually taken to the charity shop, or just lent to friends, or just let them languish on my shelf. I'm really glad now. I'm really glad now I didn't. So that's been really good. So thank you so much. If you've managed to get to this end of the video, thank you very much. And I look forward to speaking to you again soon. This has been lovely, BookTube. Let's do it again.